Good evening. It's Saturday evening, 7:30. We have the Danish Melodi Grand Prix 2024 in half an hour. I maybe watch a little bit or not, but I'm not really in mood for loud music and voices. No, I'm a little bit tired. I had a long day. When I get up in the morning, I'm sleepy. Just cut my nails, and made a Danish video. So I'm almost finished. We have this Danish Melodi Grand Prix in half an hour. I have no chips, no candy, because I'm kind of out of money. Only have money on my credit cards. I've not spent any money on my credit cards more than 1 week. I have to stop spend money from all my credit cards, like forever, because if I not do that, I will be in debt forever, rest of my life. I need all my credit card debts. All my credit card debts need to go to zero. Because when I'm getting age 68, in 10 years, my pension will drop a lot. My pension will drop like $1,000 once, so I cannot have any debt. I have to get all my debt to zero before I'm age 60 in 2 years.
The media of the Ottoman Empire was diverse, with newspapers and journals published in languages including French, 275, Greek, 276, and German. 245. Many of these publications were centered in Constantinople, 277, but there were also French-language newspapers produced in Beirut, Salonika, and Smyrna. 278. Non-Muslim ethnic minorities in the empire used French as a lingua franca and used French-language publications, 275, while some provincial newspapers were published in Arabic. 279. The use of French in the media persisted until the end of the empire in 1923 and for a few years thereafter in the Republic of Turkey. 275. Architecture. Süleymaniyye Mosque in Istanbul, designed by Mimar Sinan in the 16th century and a major example of the classical Ottoman style. Blue Mosque in Istanbul, an example of the classical style of Ottoman architecture, showing Byzantine influence. The architecture of the empire developed from earlier Seljuk Turkish architecture, with influences from Byzantine and Iranian architecture and other architectural traditions in the Middle East. 280, 281, 282. Early Ottoman architecture experimented with multiple building types over the course of the 13th to 15th centuries, progressively evolving into the classical Ottoman style of the 16th and 17th centuries, which was also strongly influenced by the Hagia Sophia. 282, 283. The most important architect of the classical period is Mimar Sinan, whose major works include Bizezade Mosque, Süleymaniyye Mosque, and Selimiye Mosque. 284, 285. The greatest of the court artists enriched the Ottoman Empire with many pluralistic artistic influences, such as mixing traditional Byzantine art with elements of Chinese art. 286. The second half of the 16th century also saw the apogee of certain decorative arts, most notably in the use of Iznik tiles. 287. Beginning in the 18th century, Ottoman architecture was influenced by the Baroque architecture in Western Europe, resulting in the Ottoman Baroque style. 288. Nuri Osmani Mosque is one of the most important examples from this period. 289. 290. The last Ottoman period saw more influences from Western Europe, brought in by architects such as those from the Balian family. 291. Empire style and neoclassical motifs were introduced, and a trend towards eclecticism was evident in many types of buildings, such as the Dolmabahce Palace. 292. The last decades of the Ottoman Empire also saw the development of a new architectural style called Neo-Ottoman or Ottoman Revivalism, also known as the First National Architectural Movement. 293. By architects such as Mimar Kemalettin and Vedat Tek. 291. Ottoman dynastic patronage was concentrated in the historic capitals of Bursa, Edirne, and Istanbul, Constantinople, as well as in several other important administrative centers such as Amasya and Manisa. It was in these centers that most important developments in Ottoman architecture occurred, and that the most monumental Ottoman architecture can be found. 294. Major religious monuments were typical architectural complexes, known as a kaleyi, that had multiple components providing different services or amenities. In addition to a mosque, these could include a madrasa, a hammam, an imam, a sabil, a market, a caravanserai, a primary school, or others. 295. These complexes were governed and managed with the help of the Vakf agreement, Arabic Waqf. 295. Ottoman constructions were still abundant in Anatolia and in the Balkans, Rumelia, but in the more distant Middle Eastern and North African provinces older Islamic architectural styles continued to hold strong influence and were sometimes blended with Ottoman styles. 296. 297. Decorative arts. Ottoman miniature lost its function with the westernization of Ottoman culture. The tradition of Ottoman miniatures, painted to illustrate manuscripts or used in dedicated albums, was heavily influenced by the Persian art form, though it also included elements of the Byzantine tradition of illumination and painting. 298. A Greek Academy of Painters. The Nakashian was established in the Topkapi Palace in the 15th century, while early in the following century a similar Persian academy, the Nakashian-i-Irani, resided. Surname Humayun, imperial festival books, were albums that commemorated celebrations in the Ottoman Empire in pictorial and textual detail. Ottoman illumination covers non-figurative painted or drawn decorative art in books or on sheets in muric card or albums, as opposed to the figurative images of the Ottoman miniature. It was a part of the Ottoman book arts together with the Ottoman miniature, taswir, calligraphy, hat, Islamic calligraphy, bookbinding, salt, and paper marbling, Ibru. In the Ottoman Empire, illuminated and illustrated manuscripts were commissioned by the Sultan or the administrators of the court. In Topkapi Palace, Hesiya manuscripts were created by the artists working in Nakashian, the atelier of the miniature and illumination artists. Both religious and non-religious books could be illuminated. Also, sheets for albums never consisted of illuminated calligraphy, hat, of Tara, religious texts, verses from poems or proverbs, and purely decorative drawings. The art of carpet weaving was particularly significant in the Ottoman Empire, carpets having an immense importance both as decorative furnishings, rich in religious and other symbolism, and as a practical consideration, as it was customary to remove one's shoes in living quarters. 299. The weaving of such carpets originated in the nomadic cultures of Central Asia, carpets being an easily transportable form or furnishing, and eventually spread to the settled societies of Anatolia. Turks used carpets, rugs, and kilims not just on the floors of the room but also as a hanging on walls and doorways, where they provided additional insulation. They were also commonly donated to mosques, which often amass large collections of them. 300. Music and performing arts. Ottoman classical music was an important part of the education of the Ottoman elite. A number of the Ottoman sultans have accomplished musicians and composers themselves, such as Selim III, whose compositions are often still performed today. Ottoman classical music arose largely from a confluence of Byzantine music, Armenian music, Arabic music, and Persian music. Compositionally, it is organized around rhythmic units called ujal, which are somewhat similar to meter in Western music, and melodic units called makam, which bear some resemblance to Western musical modes. The instruments used are a mixture of Anatolian and Central Asian instruments. The saz, the balama, the kemence, other Middle Eastern instruments, the oud, the tanbur, the kanan, the ney, and later in their tradition Western instruments, the violin and the piano. Because of a geographic and cultural divide between the capital and other areas, two broadly distinct styles of music arose in the Ottoman Empire: Ottoman classical music and folk music. In the provinces, several different kinds of folk music were recreated. The most dominant regions with their distinguished musical styles are Balkan Thracian Turkish, Northeastern, Laz, Turkish, Aegean Turkish, Central Anatolian Turkish, Eastern Anatolian Turkish, and Caucasian Turkish. Some of the distinctive styles were Janissary music, Roma music, belly dance, Turkish folk music. The traditional shadow play called karagöz and hasivat was widespread throughout the Ottoman Empire and featured characters representing all of the major ethnic and social groups in that culture. 301. 302. It was performed by a single puppet master, who voiced all of the characters, and accompanied by tambourine, definite. Its origins are obscure, deriving perhaps from an older Egyptian tradition, or possibly from an Asian Salas. Miniature from surname Ivebis showing the Meteran, the music band of the Janissaries. Miniature from surname Ivebis showing the Meteran, the music band of the Janissaries. The shadow play karagöz and hasivat was widespread throughout the Ottoman Empire. The shadow play karagöz and hasivat was widespread throughout the Ottoman Empire. Musicians and dancers entertaining the crowds, from surname Ihumayan, 1720. Musicians and dancers entertaining the crowds, from surname Ihumayan, 1720. A musical gathering in the 18th century. A musical gathering in the 18th century. Acrobacy in surname Ihumayan. Acrobacy in surname Ihumayan. Cuisine. Turkish women baking bread, 1790. Ottoman cuisine is the cuisine of the capital, Constantinople, Istanbul, and three regional capital cities, where the melting pot of cultures created a common cuisine that most of the population, regardless of ethnicity, shared. This diverse cuisine was honed in the imperial palaces' kitchens by chefs brought from certain parts of the empire to create and experiment with different ingredients. The creations of the Ottoman palaces' kitchens filtered to the population, for instance through Ramadan events, and through the cooking at the yurts of the pashas, and from there on spread to the rest of population. Much of the cuisine of former Ottoman territories today is descended from a shared Ottoman cuisine, especially Turkish, and including Greek, Balkan, Armenian, and Middle Eastern cuisines. 303. Many common dishes in Ergen, descendants of the once common Ottoman cuisine, include Yogurt doner kebab / gyroscope / shawarma. Kak / tzatziki, ayran. Pita bread, feta cheese baklava, narmakan, moussaka, yuvarlak. Koft / keftes / kofta. Borik / bukirak / rakia / sapuro / sikudia, mis. Doma, soma, rice pilaf, Turkish coffee, suak, kashk, keskek, manti lavash, kanafe, and